Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general mid-month reading for the sign of Scorpio, Sun, Moon and Ascendant for the month of September. It's going to be shorter than the main monthly readings because it's only covering a 2-week period from the 15th to the 30th of September. And I'm going to try not to pull any clarifiers to keep it nice and short. It is just a check-in. So let's have a look and see what your current energy is. Just current energy for Scorpio. Ooh, Scorpio, please. We have the Mother of Pentacles, which is the Queen, and the Son of Pentacles, Son of Cups, sorry, which is the Knight of Cups. We have Temperance. Interesting. And we have the Page of Cups and the Three of Swords in reverse. There's more cards than I wanted, but I'm going to go with it. At the bottom of the deck we have the Four of Pentacles, followed by the Three of Pentacles, and then followed by the Ten of Swords. It feels like there's something quite strong going on with you at the moment. I know we only have one major arcana card on the table. But this looks like coming to a conclusion that release is required, and actually kind of submitting to it somewhere. You know, with the Ten of Swords we have, you know, we have deep wounding, we have a difficult situation of some sort. The Three of Pentacles talks about cooperation and collaboration, and the Four of Pentacles talks about a need to release. But it feels like the need to release is coming with the assistance of other people, perhaps. Or in order that you might build something with other people. Now, in your current energy, far more cards than I wanted. But the primary theme with this single major arcana card that we have on the table is healing, is balance, is, you know, the act of temperance, tempering whatever is going on with you at the moment. Let's shut this window. It's been so quiet right up until I started the camera rolling, and then all of a sudden, fucking RAC rally. As my father-in-law used to say. I may just put some more of that on there and hope I don't smoke myself out. Right. Temperance is a card of having faced adversity and come out the other side, right? Beginning the healing process. And Scorpio 2020 has been really difficult for you as a sign. I've seen that. The energy has been, it's been dense. You've been lost. This gives me great hope for you, and not least because of the cards that surround it, because here we have this Mother of Pentacles and Son of Cups, Queen of Pentacles, Knight of Cups. The Queen of Pentacles for me is about understanding your own value, right? Understanding the need to nurture yourself first above everything else. You know, but it feels like you're opening up to that in its proper sense now, because you may have looked after your own interests for a long time, but for a lot of you, part of that has necessarily included completely avoiding the bits of you that were damaged in some way, right? It's kind of like you've done everything to get away from your own internal space, and that's the part of you that needed nurturing, right? This Knight of Cups I quite like to see here, because that is movement, it's emotional movement, and sometimes deep, still ponds go stagnant, and for some of you that might be what has occurred. This implies a movement, you know. I'm kind of feeling fresh water kind of running into something that's been so still for such a long time that it's all got a bit algae ridden and stuff like that, but there's water flowing through this now, fresh water, and it's giving you a direction. You seem to be moving out in a healthier way than you were before, you know. Well, it's just interesting how these lines move here. We've got like a herringbone pattern with the Son of Cups and Temperance card there. Ooh, if the camera's going to pick it up. All right. They're going like then It's forming a pattern. And maybe that's what you're starting to understand now, Scorpio. You're starting to see the patterns in your life. You're starting to see where maybe you have contributed to them, certainly where other people have contributed to them, but where you have pursued perhaps the difficult option, the long run difficult option, by not standing still and turning within. Now, like, I don't want this to sound like I'm haranguing you about anything, because I am. I feel uniquely placed to understand Scorpionic energy. Like, I've got heavy Scorpio placements, well, heavy Scorpio influence in my chart, including an 8th house stellium, which is interesting. But you feel things very deeply, and there isn't really anything that scares you more than what's going on inside. And for you as a sign, that is not unreasonable, because everything runs so deep. But you know, there's a quote by Lawrence van der Post that I'm absolutely going to murder now, which is a shame, because it's a beautiful quote, but it's something along the lines of the depths to which we can sink is, you know, in direct proportion to how high we can soar. And it's no coincidence that Scorpio is the sign that has the most number of evolutions, as you were. You know, we've got the scorpion at the bottom, and then we've got the eagle, and then we've got the phoenix, right? No other sign has that many evolutions, but you do. And just as you can be right down here, so you can be up here, but you will not get that without truly getting to know you and truly starting to appreciate what it is that you bring to the world, because I think a lot of you don't really understand. Certainly the Scorpios that I've known have had absolutely no idea of their own personal power, and they've had this slightly wonky version of it that that is built entirely on other people's perceptions, right? And I think that's a shame. Anyhow, the last 2 cards for your current energy are the Page of Cups and the 3 of Swords. Now, the Page of Cups for me talks about small messages of love, ultimately. So we can see that being an apology from someone else, but this is a reading where it feels to me very much like other people don't matter quite so much anymore, right? Your feelings towards other people is less of a priority than turning inward at this point. I want to pull another clarifier, or a clarifier, for this this Page of Cups, because I understand the 3 of Swords in reverse, right? It makes perfect sense with the Temperance card being there. We'll find a deck. But the Page of Cups in reverse, I mean, what I heard was you're not waiting for an apology, right? For some of you, deep down, right, on the very few occasions where you've kind of looked at this, you have felt like an apology would be the thing that caused the closure. But that apology has not been forthcoming, and honestly, Scorpio, I don't think it is coming. And I think that maybe you see that now too, and it's almost like you're releasing the need for that apology anymore. And I'm not talking about, you know, when somebody, like, you know, called you fat, or, you know, cut you up while you were driving, something like that. I mean, I'm talking about the deep-rooted, deep-seated stuff that happened a very long time ago that coloured the way that you see the world moving forwards, right? And when I say apology, I don't necessarily mean that person coming to you and saying, hey, I'm sorry. It feels almost like, not that the world owes you a favour, but at some point the universe would notice that the scales had been out of alignment for you for a very long time, and would bring about some sort of restitution for you, you know, some sort of compensation, which you could take as a universal apology for what you have suffered. And I think that you're starting to realise it doesn't work like that. And maybe it should, but it doesn't. Because frankly, there wouldn't be a journey for you. There wouldn't be some things for you to learn. There wouldn't be the ability for you to be able to take those experiences and shape them into something, you know, moving forward, using them to help you evolve. Yeah, I mean, that's almost exactly what I was just saying. We've got the we've got the Eight of Oceans, which is the Eight of Cups. You're moving away from the need to have that happen, right? That apology, whether in a direct person delivered sense or in something bigger, you know, the universe acknowledging what you have suffered, and then kind of going, here you go, here's something nice, you can enjoy this for the rest of your life now. Because the fact is, for a lot of you, even if you were given that at this point, or at any point up until this point, would you truly have allowed yourself to enjoy it? Would you truly have allowed yourself to trust it? No, don't think you would. We've got the Page of the Page of Cups is here in the upright this time, but notice how it's a seal and it's diving down into the depths. So it's Scorpio, it's time for you to do the same. And all of this being in your current energy makes me feel like there's a corner being turned here for you, right? That feels quite strong. It's an acceptance that everything emanates from in here, from within you, and it doesn't really matter what you have experienced. I'm not trying to mitigate your experiences in any way. What I'm saying is it doesn't matter what you've experienced. It is now down for you to process this. It is for you to make sense of it, and it is for you to release it. And it's oppressive. It can feel like a boot on the throat for Scorpios. And I've said before how much it breaks my heart to see, to witness in Scorpio that struggle, that difficulty, which you do not share with other people, right? I see it. I see it really clearly in Scorpios, right? Anyway, let's have a look and see what's coming towards you. Let's go to Scorpio. Let's do this. Well, this is really interesting, Scorpio. So at the bottom of the deck, the shadow cards that we have are the Two of Cups, right? Now that is, as we know, this is a partnership of some description. It's an interpersonal relationship of some description. It does not have to be romantic. This is really important. It can be a really close friend. It can be a really close family member. It can even be a business partner, right? It talks about, you know, a meeting of two people whose values are aligned in some way, or there's an end goal that is aligned, or there's just a desire to be together walking down a particular path. It's followed by the Ten of Cups, and I really like this for you, Scorpio, because where we've got this Three of Swords here, and it is in reverse, but you see how all those swords are tied up with that you know, rope, ribbon maybe, and it's all tangled and it's messy. This is so clear. This feels like you're really starting to understand your emotional place here, right? Underneath that, we've got the Lovers, which is the card of Gemini. You may be dealing with a Gemini, or a Sagittarius, in fact. But if not, all the good. It doesn't really matter, because the Lovers card is a card of manifestation, of conscious co-creation, in so much as, when you see this card, it is about you stepping up and making decisions about your life, right? It is you deciding that you are going to work with whatever is up there, right? And actively participate in your life, rather than being subject to it, which an awful lot of you have kind of felt over the years. And one of the reasons why Scorpio gets a bad rap for being manipulative is because life happens at you, and then you have to try and kind of work out how to protect yourself in that situation. Now, because you're so intuitive and because you can read people like fucking books, honestly, like, the Scorpio ability to do that is next level. It means that you can see how to work around people, and you can see how to do all of these things. And the crux of it is to keep you safe, because you are frightened of being hurt. You are frightened of feeling that pain to that depth before. And I think if people understood that about Scorpio, that they'd be a little less shitty about them, possibly, I think. I don't know. I have a deep love for Scorpio. Anyway. But then it ends with you here. Death. That's the card of Scorpio in the Major Arcana, and it talks about transformation. Specifically, in your case, we are talking about emotional transformation. And this could be one person, or this could be many people. This could just be speaking to your ability to now crack open and allow others to see into the deep, deep well, or, you know, the ocean that is the Scorpionic experience. Right? Now, what's coming towards you? We have the Five of Wands and we have the Two of Swords. The Five of Wands is a card of conflict. It can sometimes be competition, right? And we know how Scorpio is like a little bit of competition. They are driven to win. They are driven to succeed, right? But it's tempered somewhat by this Two of Swords. And this is what makes me feel like this feels like a withdrawal for you, Scorpio, right? Where a gauntlet is laid down and you would jump at the opportunity to be able to prove something, right? Competition, see how I'm best, you know, in whatever thing, you know, anything that doesn't involve emotions. I'm going to absolutely have you in this thing. And we've got the Two of Swords, and it's like, it's a pause, it's a stop. And what it feels like is a maturation of energy, because I see you sitting there kind of wondering whether it's really worth your energy, right? Either engaging in some sort of conflict or kind of trying to prove yourself on some level. Like, I feel you drawing back from it. And not because you're afraid you might lose or anything like that, but now because you kind of see that it's a slightly pointless endeavour, right? It doesn't actually give you anything here. If it's a conflict with people, you know, I know how you sometimes like to throw grenades into a room and then stand back and see what happens. I see you pulling back from that energy and going, no, I'm not going to play this game, right? Which is an interesting turn of phrase, because that is something that's associated with Scorpio as well, like the mind games. Like, I see you pulling back from this. I see you not wanting to engage with this in a way that you might have, you know, treated as sport this time last year. That, no, something in you is kind of pulling back. And we've got the Eight of Wands. Now, this is, look at that, you see that lightning strike there? It feels like news coming in. It feels like some sort of opportunity, perhaps, but it's movement, right? The one suit is all about action and living in the moment and all that kind of thing. But this feels like it's something coming out of the blue for you. It's slightly shocking news, but we don't have the Tower here, so I'm not too concerned. But it's like something kind of broadside to you a little bit, something that you weren't expecting. Let's see if we can get some clarifiers for this. Oh, fuck. Okay, I spoke too soon, because there is the Tower right there, right? This is definitely something that you are not going to see coming, and the interesting thing is, right, this is a card that I associate with Scorpio anyway, right? Talking about this ability that you have to throw grenades into a room and then kind of sit back and observe. This is happening to you, right? a grenade is being thrown in by the universe, but this is not a terrible, shocking thing. The Tower is always a good thing, even if it doesn't feel like it at the time, because it's clearing the way for something new to come in. We've already had the Death card appear for you, and Scorpio, you know, with you and Leo, you are the two signs that usually show up in your own readings, like without fail. You're there, but you're also there in a sense to transform, right? Then you're also here. Now, why I said it's interesting is because we've got the Mars retrograde is active at the moment, right? And Mars rules this card, which is why it's associated with you, and it's associated with Aries as well. And the general advice at this time is not to instigate anything, right? Kind of honor the retrograde energy of Mars. Be patient, allow things to play out a little bit more. And you can be patient. That is something that you do far, far better than Aries. But change is coming, Scorpio. And I really don't think that you have to bring it at this point. It's coming to you. What we need to know about the Tower, please. So we need to know about the Tower. Knight of Pentacles. What we need to know about the Seas. Right. Okay. I feel like this really just validates everything that I've just said. When I asked for clarification on the Tower, you know, what is this? What we had here was the Knight of Pentacles and the King of Cups come out. Now, you are the King of Cups, Scorpio, right? Fixed water, and there is you. But this Knight of Earth is... Knight of Pentacles is Earth energy, right? It's strictly related to Virgo, and it talks about taking slow, steady, methodical, you know, steps in a particular direction. What's shocking about this here is that it might be you being caused to slow down more than anything, you know. The other thing that's happening at the moment, cosmologically speaking, is that Saturn is facing Aries off, right? We've got a new and the old kind of looking at each other at the moment, and obviously Saturn rules Capricorn, and that looks an awful lot like a goat there. It could well be that you are being slowed down, like there is something that you were gunning for that is now, you know, not happening for you. Or, and this is what I feel is more likely, there is sudden shocking news coming in the last couple of weeks that causes you to change the way that you think about things, certainly, but it's causing you to change the way you do something or will do something that you had planned to do a certain way. Now, when we've got the Nine of Swords at the bottom of the deck here, this is not going to be an easy situation for you, but it is followed immediately by the Star, which is why I feel like this is going to be one of those situations that is going to be deeply uncomfortable and possibly quite upsetting when it happens. But out the other side of it is something very, very bright, right? The Star talks about hope. It talks about healing, much like the Temperance card does, actually. It talks about connection. And that for you is really important, Scorpio, because that is something that you shy away from, right? This is opening up in some way. But I don't see you seeing this coming. Tell me about this Knight of Pentacles. Why is the Knight of Pentacles here? Knight of Swords, King of Pentacles. Got even more actors on here. Like, this may well be some sort of family thing. We've got a lot of court cards coming out here, and I kind of feel like, I think that there's a possibility that it's people, but there's also a very, very strong possibility that this is energy And this causes your energy to shape up really, really fast, like ship shape and Bristol fashion, like no fucking around now, no mind games. Like this is you being very, very focused on something. And like I said, this maturation of energy, we've got 2 knights here, the Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Skies. And then 2 kings, the King of Earth and the King of Cups. Now the King of Earth and the King of Cups are 2 kings that I would associate with someone having to grow up very, very quickly and take care of a situation because it is important, right? There are other people who need looking after, and you're very, very loyal, right? I feel like this relates to somebody that you care deeply about. But the Knight of Skies is another messenger, and this is a dark messenger, right? That there is news coming that you're not going to enjoy here, right? But it does something really rather wonderful for you, right? We've got the Emperor and the 6 of Cups here, right? The Emperor is the King of Kings, right? And you got kings coming out all over the fucking shop here, right? He embodies all of the traits of all of the kings. He is a strategist. He is a leader, right? Strategy is something that you do really, really well, Scorpio, absolutely. But this is talking about taking it to a new level. Like we're losing all of the gameplay and we're losing all of the fear about your emotional state. It's like you can see that there are things that are more important now, and it feels like there's a facing of your own internal demons in order to sort whatever this is out here. And it could well be people from the past. You know, we've got the 6 of Cups here, which is absolutely is a soulmate card, but in the truest sense, you know, soul family. Could well be, you know, the person that you hate most in the world. Like the soulmates are here to teach you about something. We're not talking necessarily about your partner, although they quite likely are a soulmate. But it could also talk about childhood, right? It could talk about some sort of issue that you have had from childhood, right? This is the emotional pain. This is the seat of everything that you know, that you have been trying to deal with for your entire life. News about this person potentially coming in, and you're like, right, I got to do a lot of things very fast. I need to evolve very fucking fast. And you have the capacity to do it, but it's like the fear about it has been completely removed. Like 6 of Cups in it. Oh. I've got Justice and the World card. Like, whether you realise it or not, this brings you very neatly to the end of a cycle, and it's one that you struggled with for a really, really long time, and then it's just like all of a sudden it's just completed. Now, if any of you have got anything to do with the legal system, right, if anything's going on, you know, some sort of, you know, contracts, or you're going through a court case or something like that, this looks like a very swift resolution, right? Almost to the point where it kind of baffles you a little bit, but it feels like you're not even thinking about it. No, it's just something that's kind of been swept away from your piles of worries, you know? It's just like, this is done, this is gone. Now concentrate on this thing here. It's bringing you to the end of a cycle, really, really difficult cycle that you've been stuck in for a very long time. And it's just going to come about so suddenly that it's actually probably going to leave you reeling a little bit later on down the line when you actually stop and look back at this. Now, it's possible for some of you that this might involve your father with the Emperor here and the 6 of Cups. That's quite possible. You know, we've got to, you know, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree is something that I just heard there. And I think maybe that is something that some of you have been worrying about over time. Maybe the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, and maybe you are just a miniature version of that which caused you so much pain, right? I see this situation being resolved here for you internally, and it happening almost so fast that you don't, I just don't think you'll think about it for now. But a little bit further down the line, you're going to be like, what the fuck just happened? I just let go of things that have been torturing me for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. Let's get you some advice. Wrong deck. I'm going to use that one. There are some big major arcana energies here on the table now, Scorpio. and rolling with it seems to be the order of the day. Give me some advice for Scorpio, please. Scorpio need to know. Some cards absolutely just really slowly fell out there. Ace of Cups. Seven of Cups. Some advice for Scorpio. Did it again? What the fuck? The Fool, the King of Wands, and something else that I just completely forgot. I'm not going to take them though. One at a time, please. Advice for Scorpio. First card is the Four of Swords. Very useful for you at this time. Really like this. Here's that Father of Pentacles again. Oh, followed by... Ooh. We've got the King of Pentacles. We've got the King of Swords. And we've got Justice directly under that. These are the shadow cards here. This is a lot of masculine energy coming in here, Scorpio. And you are a traditionally feminine sign. Which is speaking to you, balancing, right? Finding an internal balance, right? Not erring towards toxic femininity, which some of you can do, right? And we've all fucking been there. It's a thing, you know, when you when you sit and you steam and you boil over things and you don't let things go, but you don't address them at the same time. You know, we're talking like kind of passive aggressive behavior, and you know, all of the things that you, no doubt, as a, you know, increasingly enlightened Scorpio are starting to recognize about yourself, the things that you do. And all the fucking signs have their shadow side, right? This is feeling like you are starting to notice these things, and more than that, you want rid of them, right? So the first card of advice that we've got is the Four of Swords, and this talks about the stillness, right? It's my meditation card. It's about rest and recovery quite often, but for me it is finding that center point. It's finding that peace, right? It's that lamb there with the, you know, its third eye open, and it looks quite content. It's sat there quietly, you know. It's talking about a different kind of internal engagement than you are used to, right? Because you're used to being able to retreat from people, from connections, you know, and think furiously about things. I know the Scorpios do that. But this is almost, well, it's not an almost, it is. It's a stepping down of the mental aspect of this now, and it's about letting the feelings come up, right? It's about letting them just come up and deal with them one at a time, right? Your mental energy is going to be on whatever this thing is, whatever this news comes in, you know, whatever it is, the way that you need to step up and look after people, right? That's where your mental energy is going. But in the meantime, you can let the feeling come up, you know, one at a time, like a little vent. It's a process of opening up that's going on here. You know, the Ace of Cups came out there, and that card talks about a lot of things, but you specifically, it talks about self-love. It talks about getting to a point where you actually like yourself, and most of you don't, right? But it also talks about forgiveness and compassion, and these are two things that you need to extend to you. But also we have this notion of open receptivity, which is something that you need to work on, right? Speaking of, we have the Mother of Cups. Receptive energy. Again, I mean, it's strictly the card of Cancer, but it is allow your compassionate side to extend to not just others, but you here, right? This is an important time for you. There are people that are going to need to be taken under your wing. And for some reason, it is really, really important that you deal with some of the stuff that you've got going on, so that you can do that to your, you know, your best ability. It's time to stop hiding from everything. Yeah. Final card that you've got is the Lovers again, right? Second appearance in the reading here for you. Conscious co-creation, right? Look how bright and this card is here, you know? It's like, Scorpio, fucking choose to be happy now, right? Well, I know some of you will be dealing with depression, and it's not like, have you tried not being depressed? Have you tried going out for a walk or something like that? But there's a comfort in the darkness sometimes, and I know it well. I've been there, I've spent a lot of time there, and sometimes releasing that can send you spinning, or even the thought of releasing it can send you spinning, because it's such an integral part of your identity. Who are you without the darkness anymore? And Scorpio, the darkness isn't going to go anywhere. Like, it's not. But you can wear it lightly. And I think it's time. I think it's time. I think it's time for you to start wearing it lightly. Now, it doesn't make you shallow. It doesn't make you lose your depth. But it does allow you to help other people, and ultimately, Scorpio, that does really seem to be the order of the day. It seems to be where you're going, and if you want to help people to your fullest capacity. Choose the light. Right, I'm going to go. If you haven't seen the main monthly reading for Scorpio, it should just be about here now. Go check that out, and there is an extended to that as well. This is really intriguing. So know that I love you all, because I do love my Scorpios, I really do. And I'll see you soon.